Okay. Hello, everybody. So before we get rolling, let's make sure everyone can hear me. Okay, you guys can hear me. I have like this new microphone now that is much better. You might have noticed like an upgrade in the quality of my audio, but every now and then I forget to turn it on. It's definitely on. Cobra Raptor, thank you very much. Sounds like you can all hear me. And yeah, today's going to be an interesting kind of live stream because I have something to review that I think I'm going to make an episode about this eventually. But I don't know. It seems like the sort of thing that might be fun to see in real time. And that is the MALVA nut, or this is from Vietnam. It's in Vietnam. It's called puntalai seeds, and I'll be talking about that in a second. I want to give a moment for more people to join in, but I think how it's going to go down tonight is I will talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on because there's a lot of stuff going on. Then I'll take a break to take a question or two, talk some more, take another question, kind of like that. And by the way, if you want to give a super chat, I will definitely address your question, provided it's nothing obscene. And I will also take other questions as well. You don't need to give money to ask a question, but I out of politeness, I'll address the ones that are super chats first. But looks like we got 77 people watching. Thanks for joining, guys. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. It's I've just moved. You may notice that behind me things look a little bit differently. We've got this. This is a door to nowhere. So pretty much the same, got the same like paint and everything. But yeah, I did move to a new place. I got more space now. And right on cue, Vostok has joined. So I think it's time to start rolling. So I want to start with the MALVA nut because this is something that's going to take a little bit of time, I think, for it to work out. And what this is this is a very special fruit that is used in Vietnam. It's used in Thailand, in China, in Laos. In fact, Laos, this is something that comes up every time you look this up, is in Laos, this is the number 2 export. Their number 1 export is coffee, and their second most popular export is this. And I don't think that's really saying that there's a whole lot of this going out there because Laos doesn't export all that much coffee. I don't think export all that much of this, but it's something that does grow there. And it's used as a medicinal thing in some parts of the world. I believe it's supposed to be good for like respiratory issues and stuff like that, getting a cold, that sort of thing. But it also is used as a dessert. So it's used in drinks, and I think, yeah, even on the packet here, I'll get you a nice closer look of it. On the packet, you can see that little glass there. It has the puntali seeds or the malva nut with basil seeds and water, probably some spices too. That's typically how it's prepared, as kind of like a juice or a tea. But also people make a variety of desserts out of it. One that I believe is popular in China and Singapore is they make a sweet soup with it. And sweet soups are good. I've had these in China. They're like kind of like a congee. They'll be like jujubes and different sorts of seeds, different sorts of nuts, all sorts of stuff like that. They're supposed to be like really good for you, but they can taste pretty good too. And yeah, so that's the sort of thing that this is used in. But that's not the most interesting thing. What's really interesting about this, apologies for the ASMR moment there, but what's interesting about this is that they expand a lot. So they're really small. Let me fish one out of here. That's a good one. So they're really small. I'm going to actually get this right up into the camera so you can see what I'm talking about here. So you see that, not too big, but they blow up. They get really, really big when you add water to it. I've never done this myself. I just took a picture of myself. Okay, great. I've never done this myself, but from photos online, like this little guy is supposed to turn like this, maybe bigger than that. So I don't know exactly what's doing that, but I believe that's kind of like why people think it's good for you, because it's something that is expands. And yeah, so all you have to do is add hot water. So I'm going to take one of these as a reference. So we've got two of them around the same size. This one's a little bit bigger. I'm going to keep this one as a reference of just what it looked like before. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to add it to a glass of hot water. And I don't know how long this is going to take. Online, it says anywhere between 7 and 15 minutes for it to fully expand. But maybe I'm going to put it in there. It's going to blow up like immediately. Are you guys ready? Okay. Oh, it floats. Okay. I was expecting it to sink on the bottom. I think you're actually supposed to like pour the liquid on top normally, but I don't think it's going to matter all that much. Okay, so that is not expanding yet. Not expanding yet. You can see it there. It's kind of floating on the top of my glass. I'm going to put that. Oh no, it's happening. It's happening already. Okay, hold on. Let me give you a look here. See it in there. Pull it out. You can already see that it's kind of like splitting a little bit and opening. But it can take 15 minutes. So I'm going to take this and we're going to leave it in sight. And we'll follow along as the stream goes on. And then at some point, I'm going to try eating this thing. But okay. So MALVA nut is set. I saw a super chat go by. So let's answer a super chat here. That was from Nicole. Nicole, thank you very much. Didn't have a comment, but you sent me a dancing pear, and I appreciate that, Nicole. And another thing about the MALVA nuts, by the way, and because I know that Nicole is on my Patreon. Any of my Patreon members who are signed up to receive stuff in the mail, so at a certain tier, I send you stuff in the mail. I will send you a packet of these. I bought like a whole bunch of these at a Vietnamese market. So look out for that. I'm not sure if it's going to taste good or not, but it's, as you can see, blowing up. It's definitely blowing up. All right. I think it's got more to go though. So we're going to, I'll check on that in, it's about 7:09 now. So let's try like 7:15. I think it'll be about time for that for me to try that. So let's talk some news. Okay, now this is the big thing now. I have not done a live stream in a while, and there has been a lot of action going on. I've been traveling quite a bit. So if you've been watching my channel recently, you probably have seen a lot of videos coming out from Costa Rica. When I was in Costa Rica, I don't have the exact count, but I think it's over 30 different new fruits that I've tried. I've got like over 30 episodes worth of material just from that one trip. And I wasn't there for very long. I was there for like less than 2 weeks, but I found so much there. And I went on a couple of farm tours. I got shown around some people's collections, and that's all going to be coming up as well. I mean, it's already on the channel now, but there's a lot more to go. I'm not even halfway through all the material from Costa Rica, and that stuff is there's some pretty big ones. There's some pretty big ones coming up. I'm trying to space it all out with the videos from North America also. So I'm staggering them, not with any kind of like regular schedule or anything, but it's going to be Costa Rica, video from North America, Costa Rica, etc. as we're going along. And so the Costa Rica videos will probably be coming out for quite a while. And there's some really exciting ones in there. And there's some exciting ones from North America also. But then then things are going to get a little unexpected. So I had some work in some international work in Portugal. Well, actually, I did a cruise that ended in Portugal. So I was working on a cruise ship and it brought me to Portugal. And I spent some time in Portugal. Not a whole lot of time because I was, just stopping by, after working on a ship. But I got about like 4 days in Portugal, and I used those 4 days. So I went to a bunch of markets. I met with a rare fruit collector. I got a lot of, well, considering the amount of time, I found quite a lot of stuff. So stuff from Portugal, which I had no plans of going to Portugal. I didn't really think of Portugal in my head as like the place to go for fruit hunting. I would think, oh, I'm going to go to like Brazil. I'm going to go to Borneo. I'm going to go somewhere that is like a big rainforest. But Portugal has a lot. Portugal has a lot of really interesting things just because it's more like a Mediterranean sort of climate there. So I found some really cool stuff. A lot of Eugenia fruits, like Suriname cherries and Savannah cherries and stuff like that. But the big one there, the big thing that I found as a fruit is the madruno, or the strawberry tree fruit, which I've talked about in the past, but I talked about it, how it's used in the US, where it's used as like a landscaping plant. But in Portugal, and also I believe in Spain, people use it. People use that fruit, and they make alcohol out of it. It's very popular for that, of course it is, but also jams, cookies, stuff like that. People do use it there much more than they use in the US, which I thought was so interesting. Because something that grows here, that's used here, but for a completely different purpose than how it's used in other parts of the world. I love stuff like that. So I went on a tour. I saw a farm. I did a lot around the strawberry tree fruit. So that's going to be the big one, but there's going to be some other surprises too. There's going to be another big one in there. I don't want to give too much away, but since it is kind of far down the line, that's the big one that's going to be coming up from Portugal. And then after Portugal, something that totally unexpected. I knew I was going to go there. I didn't know I was going to make videos there, but I went to Algeria. And that's in northern Africa. It's, for those that don't know, it's by Morocco and Egypt, like North African country. It's the biggest country in Africa, I believe, and not a lot of people go there. It's very difficult to go there as a tourist, but because of my work, I ended up going there, and I didn't plan on filming because I didn't know if I'd have permission to do it, so I didn't even bring my camera. So it's, but then after asking around, I was like, oh, I was kind of like given the thumbs up. So I filmed a bunch of stuff there. It's all with my phone, but it's rare. It's something that there is not a lot of YouTube videos about Algeria at all. There's a couple people that live in Algeria. They have YouTube channels, but not a lot of, tourism going there. So there's not a whole lot of content about this country. And it's a really, really beautiful, interesting place. So I'm happy to give at least a little bit of content from there. It's not a lot, and it's with my phone. Not the most ideal thing, but I think that'll be pretty exciting. And the big one that I'll be focusing on when I go to Algeria is dates. I mean, I've been there, but when we get to that point in the channel's episodes, it's the big episode is going to be on dates, which I've never really done a big deep dive on dates, but in Algeria, people are really, really serious about their dates, like amazingly serious about their dates. Like when I was at the airport trying to get back home, I wanted like a bottle of water, and I couldn't find a bottle of water, but I did find like 5 shops that were only selling dates at the airport. Like it's very, very popular. And one of the things that people do is they will go to Algeria and then take dates home, which I didn't do. But when I was there, I did find quite a lot of cool dates and products made from dates and stuff like that. So that's going to be a really exciting one as well. Damn. I don't know if people have been commenting. Yeah. Okay. You guys are I'm my screen is over here. My laptop is right over here, but it looks like you guys are watching the MALVA nut as it's expanding. And Logan just said that it's already as big as Vostok, my cat. And yeah, it's just about as big as her head, at least. Look at that. So as a comparison, there's what it looks like as it started. And maybe it's a little bit difficult with the lighting here. Yeah, it's as big as, well, it's a little bit smaller than a tennis ball, but bigger than a golf ball. If it's difficult to see in the water, it's about that wide. Wow. That's that's pretty impressive. I'm going to try this in a minute. I'm going to give it a second just in case it's going to get bigger. But pretty soon I'm going to give that a try. I'm not sure if it's going to taste good, but it's something that's used kind of for health and things like that, but it's certainly an interesting fruit. I saw another super chat go by. I'm going to take a couple of questions, and then I've got a little bit more news, and then we will get into that MALVA nut. Andrea Ariza, the moderator. Thank you so much, Andrea. She said that Synth Addict says, thanks for all the great content of all the hundreds of new and old fruits you've encountered. Do you still have a best and worst one? That is a good question, Synth Addict, and thank you very much for the super chat. A best and worst fruit is kind of difficult, but I do have a worst fruit. It's still noni. It's still noni. The worst fruit I've ever had, and I don't think it can be topped, is noni. For those that haven't seen that episode, noni, it's like this big, size of like a pear. It looks terrible. It's got it's like a trypophobic nightmare just to look at it. But the flavor of it is like somebody ate a bunch of cheese and then threw it up onto a lemon, and then you ate that lemon. That's what noni tastes like. It tastes like barf, lemons, and cheese. And yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. Some people do. There's a few people out there who like it, and I am not one of those people. It's a sort of thing that, even in areas that it grows, it's not popular as something that you eat. People will eat it either as a famine food, meaning if there is nothing else available and you're hungry, people will eat the noni. There is some nutritional value to it. Or people eat it for medicinal benefits. And to do that, I believe it's usually used as a juice. When I was in Mexico, people would take the noni either ripe or underripe, and they'll blend it with water in a blender, and you drink that. And it's not for pleasure, some people do like it. That's not common. People drink it for the medicinal benefits, and the unripe version is all right. It's not. I mean, it's not all right. It's not good, but it's not horrible. But the ripe version is really bad. And then when you have it overripe, which some people, they wait until it actually gets so ripe that it ferments. That it just takes it to a whole new level. And I've had all three versions of it now. And I can still taste it. It's been a few years since I had it last time, but I can still taste it. That's my worst one. My favorite fruit. And by the way, recently I had something called saw palmetto. Some of you probably have seen that episode. If you haven't seen it, just like last week, I posted that. And that's one that people told me would be worse than noni because it also has that kind of like vomit flavor. And it wasn't. There, I actually found some redeeming qualities in it. It was not like my favorite fruit, but I could see it actually being useful in some ways, or something that you could acquire the taste for. I don't feel that way with noni. So salt palmetto is not the worst one. Noni is still high on the list. As far as a favorite fruit, it's hard to say. It depends on what mood I'm in. For the longest time, I would say my favorite fruit is lucac, which is a type of durian, but it's more fruity tasting and less funky. But it still has like a certain kind of like odoriferous kind of appeal. Like it's good in a similar way to durian, but not nearly as oniony. So that's one of my favorite ones. But I would like some days I would rather like atacharu, which is a really good Garcinia fruit related to mangosteens, or the atamoya is really good. Pawpaws are really good. There's a lot. I've been asked a few times like if I would do another best fruit in the world top 10, and it's getting a little too difficult to do that. I think with a worst of, I could probably adjust it a little bit, and then it wouldn't be a spoiler. Noni would be number one. But with the best of, it's hard to narrow them down. So I'm not able to really give a definitive one. But easy answer, lucac. Not sure if it's true, but that's the easy answer. I also want to answer a question that's not a super chat. Don't want to leave you guys out. Let's see. Am I still in Costa Rica? No, I am in New York City now. Did I ever do a wild strawberry episode? Comes from Q Mechanic. I did a what they call well, it's probably inappropriate name now, but Indian strawberry is the colloquial name for it, if that's what you mean, where it's not really a strawberry. It's something else that looks like a strawberry and tastes like nothing. I have reviewed that, but there was so little to say about it that the episode was like a minute long. So I tagged it along with another fruit. I'm not sure which one that is. So if any of the super fans out there who have a really, really good memory know where the wild strawberry episode is, leave a comment on that. But yeah, I don't remember. Okay, so I'm going to give a little bit more news, and then we will get into the MALVA nut. The other thing I wanted to say is that about the most recent video that I posted this morning, actually, on the Fruitarian Diet Mega video, basically. If you haven't seen it, basically, I went fruitarian for an entire week where I had no grains, no vegetables, no salt, no sugar, not a whole lot of seeds, no oil, not a lot of spices because spices are cooked, nothing cooked, just fruit for an entire week. And I documented it and tried to be as unbiased as I could. So that is something actually I shot in 2018. So about 4 years ago or so, I shot that. And when I did it very like run and gun style. So I would just like film and then put the videos out shortly after. And because of that, I don't remember exactly. It might have been like one day before or something, but I did not take that much time editing it. And it always kind of bugged me because I didn't think I did a very good job. So what I did is I did a re-edit of it, and I put all of those episodes together into one mega video. And this is something that I want to continue to do with other videos. So I think it's a good idea. I think it's a way to not just revisit something from the past, but also to clean it up a little bit, make it a little bit closer to how I would like it to be, put a little bit more time into it. And I like that idea. And also, put things out as a single form video, which from if you've seen my Icelandic banana saga, is breaking the videos up into parts is not the best way to do it. So whenever I've done a video in parts, it doesn't really get seen by as many people. Like maybe the first episode will be in the series and maybe the last episode, but a lot of it doesn't get the same sort of attention by the algorithm. So I think this is a way to also get videos seen that maybe didn't show up in your feed. So fruitarianism is the first one, and coming up soon, hopefully by the end of the year, I want to do the Coco de Mer. And for those that haven't seen that, that is like the most epic adventure that I've been on, where I found a fruit that has just centuries of history to it. It's got ties with mythology, and it's used all around the world. And there's so much in that episode where it's basically a full-length documentary. It's about an hour and a half long, and I intended it to be seen as one video, but in order to put the proper amount of time into it, I had to break it up. I just didn't have time to. I would never release it. It just would have taken way too long to do. So in order to get it out there, I split it up into 5 parts, I believe. So what I would like to do is put it all together and also do another final re-edit of it. So when I did that, that was also about 4 years ago, maybe a little less than 4 years. Yeah, about 4 years ago now. And I've learned a lot since then about editing, and I think I can clean it up a little bit. I think that one I did a pretty decent job. It wasn't like the fruitarianism series where I just put it out there real fast. Coco de Mer, I did put a lot of time and effort into it. It took me about a year to put that all together, but it could always use more time. So I think to go in and fix it up a little bit would be pretty cool. So that's going to be the next one. And then after that, I think the only other one I have that's split up in parts is the one on the Icelandic banana, where I went to Iceland and I learned a lot about geothermal energy and how bananas are grown in Iceland using geothermal energy. And it's, that's one of my, I put a lot into that. That's probably the most work that I've ever done on an episode, and probably the most meaningful series of episodes that I've done. But again, because I broke it up and, I kind of pushed it out there a little quicker than I'd like to, it didn't get the kind of attention that I wanted. So that one also, I'm going to put it together as one big documentary. But that one is, I would say, some point in 2023. And if I'm forgetting anything, let me know. But I think those are all the multi-part videos that I did. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple questions and then let's get into this MALVA nut. Alex asks, have I tried Nispiro, commonly grown in Spain? Yes, Nispiro is the Spanish word for loquat, I believe. That's right? Or am I thinking Cepadilla? I think that's what Nispiro is. Yeah, loquats. So yes, I've reviewed loquats a couple of times. I found them in Hong Kong long ago. Another point, I had them in Madagascar, where I met with a grower who actually would make a liqueur using loquat seeds that had a flavor kind of like amaretto and that sort of taste. And I tried a white loquat at some point because there's different cultivars of loquats. Did that, and I think there was another episode where I made a crumble. I made like an apple crumble, but instead I used loquat, so I made like a loquat crumble. I believe loquats are like distantly related to apples, so it kind of made sense at the time. It was really good. So yeah, there's a bunch of loquat episodes out there. If I'm getting it wrong and Nispiro is something else, then let me know. But yeah, lots of loquats going on. And by the way, for those that haven't seen it, if you ever wonder if I've reviewed something, check out my website. It's weirdexplorer.com, and it is in the description of every episode I do. Go to the description. There's a link there, and there is an entire database on my website of every fruit that I've ever reviewed on this channel. All 630 episodes are organized by episode number and also common name. And a future project is actually to arrange them by scientific name. So if I get a lot, I've been doing this a long time. It's been almost 10 years now that I've been keeping this channel going, and about 700 episodes worth of fruit. So because of that, it's easy to, not know if I've had something, but chances are, yes, I probably have had it, and it's listed on my website. So if you're ever curious if I've had something, go to weirdexplorer.com, look in the database there, and see if you can find it there. And there's a lot. I've had a lot of fruit, lots and lots of fruit, but there are the number I've had. I've heard there is that there's over 70,000 different species of fruits, edible fruits. So I've got a long way to go. The cool thing that I figured out, though, is that if I've had 700 fruits, which right now if you take everything that I've put out and everything that I'm going to put out that I have already filmed, I have exactly 700 episodes. I'm up to 700 as of this week. I've hit 700 episodes. And that means if there are 70,000 fruits in the world, I have gotten 1% of them, which is wild. I have reviewed 1% of all the fruits in the world, arguably. Which, when I figured that out, that somebody mentioned that in a comment, and that kind of blew me away when I realized that was going on. So, okay, MALVA nut time. So I think this is as puffy as this MALVA nut is going to be. So this is what it started. Well, let's see if we can. Now it's focusing on Divine's face. Okay, so this is how it started. Small, a little bit bigger than an almond. This is how it ended up. And it's a little difficult to see in the water, but I'm going to take it out right now. It's filling the glass, basically. It goes from either side of the interior of this glass. And I don't know if I can do this without making a huge mess, but it's actually very hot. Ow. I should have brought a spoon. Okay. I got it. Oh. There it is. That's half of it. It broke apart in the glass, but you can see how much that expands. So that's about half of it right there. Look at that. So what did you say? That has at least 8 times as big as how it started. That's crazy looking. And the texture of this is really weird. It's it's jelly-like, but also kind of gritty. You can probably see there's almost little grains in there. Oh. Uh-oh. Are we back? Okay, we're back. I need to stop touching my camera because it doesn't know what to do when I'm live streaming sometimes. But so there we go. It has octupled in size, and I don't know if you can see it so easily, but it's slimy. It's holding together, but it's also kind of mealy. Well, let's do it, guys. And just to confirm, you see at the bottom there is still another half of it. I got half of it. Well, I got the half with the nut in it, the seed in it. So I'll show you what the seed looks like in a moment. The smell of this is familiar. It's like a weak cinnamon. It's got a little bit of a spicy smell to it. Doesn't smell bad. Yeah, bit like little like cinnamon. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of it. It's mostly flavorless, but the texture is really interesting. Yeah, the flavor of that is like if you took a stick, like a cinnamon stick, and you stirred a glass of cold water with it for like 3 seconds, and then you took the stick out. That's kind of what it's like. Very, very mild cinnamon taste. But the texture of it is like it's like if you took applesauce and Jello and mixed them together. It's like it's a Jello sort of texture, but it's in grains, like grainy. It's not like grainy, like it has like a sandy taste, but it's like very, very small particles of Jello. Huh. It's all right. You know, it's not bad. The reason people use this is for medicinal benefits, and they use it for texture and to make desserts. And for that, I think it works fine. One of the more popular things that people do with this is in Vietnam. They make a drink out of it. I'm gonna put this back in. Uh, they make a drink out of it that has basil seeds in it. There's a picture of it right there. So that's the drink that people make out of it. And I can see that being good. If you took this and you mixed it with some spices like cinnamon, cloves, things like that, and put this malva nut in there, basil seeds, chia seeds, things in that sort of direction, it would probably work pretty well for that. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. That's really interesting. The coolest thing about that, obviously, is that this little guy, so small as it is, blows up, gets really, really big, bloats up like, I think considering it broke in half, I say 12 times the size. One little seed can go to almost the size of a tennis ball. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So that's maybe not the most interesting tasting fruit in the world. It's pretty innocuous, but the fact there is a fruit out there that does that, pretty cool. Pretty cool. And again, for anyone watching that happens to be on Patreon, if you are of a certain level, I'm going to send you a pack of these in the mail, probably at some point in August. So look out for that and let me know what you do with it. But if anyone else wants to try it, you can get these on Amazon, I believe. Not too difficult to find them. But I actually got this from a Vietnamese supermarket. They had a bunch of them there for like, it was a couple bucks. It's not like especially expensive thing, but it might be tricky to find. But we've got the internet, so that's the way to do it, I think. So U-Haul asks eBay. I bet you anything that's on eBay. These days, I tend to use eBay for most things. Like instead of if I want something from Amazon, I'll go on eBay, and it feels like I'm helping more people instead of just one company. So I go on eBay for most things, and you could get pretty much anything on eBay now. Oh yeah, yes. Uluwali Blue says I should sip the nut liquid. Yes, I probably should, shouldn't I, Uluwali Blue? Thank you for the suggestion. Not that I'm not showing hesitance over drinking it because I think it's going to be bad. Just the word nut liquid is, yeah, you understand. Okay. It's pretty good, actually. the liquid of it has more flavor than the nut itself. I think the majority of the flavor from the nut extracted or infused into the water. So this tastes like a tea. It tastes like black tea, like a weak black tea with a little bit of a little touch of a fruit flavor to it, a little cinnamon, little apple sort of taste to it. It's pretty good. I think I actually like the tea made out of it, or Tassan or Tisane or whatever it is, made from the nut is more than the fruit itself. But I think that's typically how it's used. Like the fruit itself or the nut itself is used to make desserts, but people like to make a beverage with the liquid. It's all right. It's all right. So, okay, next up, big, important thing to bring up. Very, very important because this is something I announced a while ago, and it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I brought it up, but now it's coming close. I'm doing a tour, everybody. I'm doing a tour, and if you haven't heard about this, basically I've got two countries that I'll be doing tours in. One is Thailand and also Vietnam. Vietnam, we might be able to, both countries actually will have MALVA nuts. So maybe we can try them together. But yeah, Thailand and Vietnam, I'm going to be doing a week-long tour of both places, looking specifically for fruit, food, like farms, stuff like that. They're markets are a big one. So I actually put links to those tour pages, like where you can buy your tickets and everything, in the description below. I put it there now. So if anyone is interested in going, this is going to be a really cool thing. This is the first time I'm doing it. So the first place we're going is Thailand. It's going to be a small group, no more than 12 people. And some of those tours are already sold out, but Thailand and Vietnam, last I checked, still had a couple of spots available. There's one spot in Thailand, and there are, I think, 4 spots in Vietnam. So it's almost sold out, but there's still spots available if you are interested in doing this. And this is going to be really, really cool. It's my first time doing this. It's something that I've wanted to do. I've wanted to go on a tour and take people with me because honestly, a lot of people have asked me if I would do that, and something that I think would be really fun, but I don't really know that much about setting up tours. So this company, Trova Trip, contacted me to work with me to set up these tours. So it's all set up. I worked with them to pick an itinerary where we would be going to things that would give us the opportunity to find really interesting fruits, and also, do other things as well, not just 100% fruit all the time. I think that would probably get a little bit boring for some people, but also going to markets, doing like a cooking class, going to cool restaurants. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff on these tours. Floating markets are going to be a thing. Cool stuff. So check out the links in the description to learn more about that if you're interested. There are a few spots left, and if there aren't spots left, go on the waiting list, because as the people who initially signed up for it and the people who are on there now are a very different group of people. The people have been dropping and picking up as it's been going along. So this is the sort of thing that it's people's lives change. You might need to reschedule or whatever. So there are spots available now that weren't available before, and that may happen again. So if you're interested in going, check it out. And it's going to be November for Thailand. I'll be doing 2 tours in Thailand. That way we can keep things small. Trova Trip usually wants 24 people, but I told them no. I said, let's do 12. That way it can be a little bit more intimate. We can have a little bit more time hanging out like a group of friends rather than, leading a big tour bus. That was kind of like my thinking on it. So it's going to be small groups. But because of that, I broke it up. So there's going to be 2 in Thailand in November, and there's going to be 2 in Vietnam in May of 2023. So yeah, if you're interested in that, check it out. If you're not interested and you think you might be in the future, sign up for the waiting list anyway. It'll put you on a mailing list, and it'll let you know if I do this in the future, which I hope I will, but we'll have to see. I'm gonna do these 2 first, and then I think if all goes well and Trova is happy with me, then I'll be doing it again, probably in a year or so, though. So yeah, check it out. And for anyone who has signed up for that tour, thank you for signing up. I think we're gonna have a really, really good time. Okay, so I would like to answer a couple of questions, and then I think we'll probably close it up. I think I've got a little. I'm looking down because I've got a little notepad with things that I want to talk about. We talked about the Malva nut. That was wild. We talked about Fruitarian episode and mega videos coming up. Talked about that. That I have videos from Portugal and Algeria coming up. Yeah, so we got it all. And also, because Trover Trip is going to be bringing me and a group of people to Thailand and Vietnam. Guess what else is coming up in the future? Videos from Thailand and Vietnam. I've never been to Vietnam, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, there's interesting fruit in Vietnam. Okay, so let's answer some questions. Lauren Rain says, "Oh no, I missed the Malva nut." Don't worry, you didn't see it in live in real time, but you'll get to see it in reruns. Let's see. Elliot White, do I own a typewriter? No. At one point I did, though. I am of the age where there was a typewriter in my house at one point. There's some discussion. I didn't see the question. Oh, The Truth asks, why am I wearing a Pink Flamingo shirt? Those Pink Flamingos is awesome. John Waters is awesome. I saw him live recently, too. His live show, real good. Really, really good. Let me see here. And I don't think I missed any super chats, but if one of the moderators wants to put it, if I missed anything, please put it in there for me. And thank you for your help, Andrea. My favorite John Waters movie. Oh, that's a hard question. It's hard to choose. I tend to like the classic ones, Pink Flamingos, Desperate Living, Polyester. Yeah, those are the good ones. I think I'd have to go with the classic, though. I'd have to go with Pink Flamingos. No other super chats. Okay, no problem. Robert Madwell asked, white mulberry. I don't think I've reviewed white mulberry. I've reviewed regular black mulberries before, but I don't think I've done white mulberry. I should. I actually have seen them growing in New York City as this landscaping. So, yeah. GNN says I should try swallowing a few Malva nuts whole. No. It's drinking Pop Rocks and soda. I imagine if I think realistically, if I were to swallow several of these Malva nuts whole, I probably would feel fine at first, and then I would feel very, very full. I think in like an hour, I'd be like, oh no, what did I do? Because these things expand so much. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. Okay, any other questions here? Yeah, Andrea says that I would get a stomach ache. I think you're right. Yeah, I made the mistake last week of eating something with cassava in it. And cassava is great, like tapioca, cassava, yuca, it's all the same thing. And it tastes like potato, like a dense potato, some kind of like that, but it's really, really dense. And once it hits your stomach, it just expands and expands and expands. So it's like you get greedy eating it because it tastes good, but then an hour, 2 hours go by and you feel like you're going to explode. So that is a lesson I have not learned, because whenever I have cassava, I eat too much of it. When I've traveled around, actually, sometimes that is something that'll show up at bus stations or rest stops on a bus. Like, if you take like a night bus through Southeast Asia, and like my favorite thing about night buses in Southeast Asia is they'll let you out at these rest stops, just like in the middle of nowhere, be like in the countryside, small villages maybe, and that's where you stop. And people will sell things that they're making in the village. So a place that I maybe wouldn't be able to easily get to otherwise. It's like maybe not super well connected, maybe not my main destination. I'll go there and get a chance to try food from that village by going to that rest stop. Love that. And I have this distinct memory of seeing cassava for sale, and like in a brick, like they just like made some like a sweet out of it, solid brick. And that was meant to be like a gut busting like snack, like quick, cheap, filling food for somebody who's on a bus with just a few minutes. So you get out, you got your 15-minute pee break, you go pee, you grab this cassava thing, then you eat it on the bus. And I ate one of those, and I thought I was going to die because it was delicious, but it expands more than a MALVA nut. I don't remember what the question was, but yes, I digressed a little bit, but I'm going to take maybe 2 more questions and then close it. We're going on about an hour now. So I think we've been talking a while here, about time to wrap up, but let's see. Lauren Rains says, if I go to South America, I should try mandioca. It's better than tapioca, yuca, and name. I'll look that up. Yeah, definitely. And I would like to go to Paraguay. That'd be cool. B. McCool asks, would I ever consider doing an extended video on ketchups or other recipes? An extended video like a bunch of videos together, like what I did with the Fruitarian episodes. Is that what you mean? Like to take all the episodes and put them together? I think maybe honestly, like even doing the Fruitarian video, I wasn't sure how well that would do. I didn't know if anyone would watch it because it's so long. It's an hour, 20 minutes. So when I put that out, I was like, it was kind of an experiment to do that. And given the success that it's had so far, people did watch it. That's what made me realize, okay, I'm going to do the Coco de Mer. I'm going to do the Icelandic banana. So I think once I do those, once I do the Coco de Mer, once I do the Icelandic banana, all the segmented videos are put together in one mega video and I put it out there. If that does well, people want that. If that's the thing, then yeah, I can see maybe doing compilation videos, which I guess there is a demand for that in some places. Like one of the YouTubers I'll watch sometimes is Angry Video Game Nerd. I'm sure a lot of people do. He's got like millions of subscribers, and like he's got like these long episodes. They're like 30 minutes, 40 minutes long. And then he will put out an entire season of all the episodes together. And it'll be like 5 hours long. And it'll have like 8 million views. And I don't know who's watching those or how much they're watching. Maybe people are like putting it on in the background, or they're putting it on and going to sleep or something. Because it's a long time. Or they're watching it in pieces, maybe. YouTube saves your progress when you watch a long video. So maybe that's it. But because other people have done that, where they've made compilation videos that are really, really long, I could see maybe doing that with a theme, like the ketchups would be a good way to do it. It'd be like 5 hours of making ketchup out of other things. I can think of a good not a thumbnail. I can think of a good title for that. I think that's something someone would click on. It would be long. I don't know who's clicking on that, but yeah, sounds interesting, right? So I could do that. Maybe another thing to do would be to take a genus of fruits and do a compilation of those. Like do every Garcinia that I've had in one mega video, or every durian that I've had in one mega video. I think maybe, but I think if I'm going to do something like that, it's going to be down the line. I think that's going to be after I've already taken all the episodic series and put them together in one video. Okay, one more question, and then we're going to call it a night. It's about 8 o'clock, guys, and I want to have dinner. But thank you everybody for joining me. That has I think this was a pretty interesting one with the malva nut. Oh, I wanted to show the malva nut seed, and now that this thing has kind of deteriorated quite a bit, I think it's time to show it. And what's really interesting about this malva nut seed is let me get you a nice close look of it. This is the malva nut seed. That's it. This is what it looked like before I soaked it. And then all that flesh came out, and then that's what's left. So maybe it's bloated a little bit from being in the water, but it's all that stuff that expanded was just the outer coating of it. It wasn't the seed. It's just the fruit of it. The fruit of it expands, but the seed itself makes up the majority of the fruit. That's wild. Isn't that cool? I mean, the amount of expansion that comes from the flesh of this fruit is insane. Like I said, it was probably like 12 times as big. But when you take the nut out, when you take the seed out of it, it's maybe like 100 times. It's really expands a lot. Cool. That's pretty cool. It's good to I just like to have you all here where I can geek out about stuff like this, and imagine that you guys are watching this and also geeking out a little bit. Are you guys geeking out? Is this as interesting to you as it is to me? I think that's really neat. I think it's really neat to take something and it expands so greatly, but it's just the outer bit. That's really neat. What this reminds me of is like when I was a kid, I don't know if you can still, they probably can't get these anymore, but when I was a kid, like I'd say like in the late 80s, early 90s, there were these little dinosaurs that you can get. You can get them from like Toys R Us. It'd be like this big, this little dinosaur, and it would be hard. It's really like hard, like green piece of plastic almost. And you put it in water and it would expand like this big. That's what this reminds me of. So this is maybe giving me a little bit of a nostalgia trip. It's kind of like a toy to me, but it's a toy that, unlike the little dinosaur that is probably not around anymore because it's poisonous or toxic to children who will clearly try to eat it, this one is supposed to be good for you. So that's cool. All right. Moo Mustelids asks if I had the sponge pills that expand in water. Yes. I actually, in my closet, I have some that I bought in case maybe it'd be good for an episode or like a visual or something. They're like little pills, and you put them in water, and the ones I have, they turn into fruits. There's one that turns into a banana or a pineapple or a strawberry, depending. You don't know what it's going to be until you add hot water to it. Maybe the next live stream, I'll do that. That sounds like a fun one. Some people remember it. Okay, good. I'm not the only person here who's in their late 30s. Let's see. Wikipedia says that malva leaves are edible. That's interesting. Thank you for that tidbit, Robert. Shrinky Dinks. Okay. B. McCool says, would a deep dive, longer format video on recipes for a specific fruit or genus of fruit? Appreciate your content. Thanks so much. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, doing a deep dive, longer format video on stuff would be interesting. Similarly, I mentioned maybe doing a Garcinia mega video where I take all my Garcinia episodes and put them back to back. I think it would also be interesting to uh, do a deep dive into Garcinias in general, where I take maybe do a voiceover similar to a top 10 video, like that sort of content, but instead talk about all the different species that I've had of that genus. I think Garcinias would be a good one for that. Durians would be good for that because I've had a few durian species. Um, the different solanums, tomato relatives, where I compare them side by side. So doing a maybe give more information, do more of a deep dive on a genus of fruit, maybe a family of fruit if it's not a big genus. I think that would be interesting to do something like that. I've thought about that. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. And I think that is about it. Thank you everybody for joining in on this live stream. I hope you enjoyed the Malva nut. For those that didn't see, coming up pretty soon, we have videos from, well, there's Costa Rica happening now. That's gonna be going on for a little while. Got a lot of stuff from Costa Rica, a lot of cool stuff coming up. Also, Portugal videos will be coming up soon, and Algeria videos will be coming up soon. And then in the future from there, Thailand, Vietnam, a few other surprises along the way. Also, there's going to be tours going on. Check out the links in the description if you're interested in traveling with me, going to another country, finding fruit, going to markets, stuff like that. Information about that is in the description. There are still spots available to sign up for the waiting list if there are not. And I think that's about it. So hopefully we'll do another one of these in a month or two. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. It's going to take me a minute to turn all this stuff off. First goes the microphone.